palm. See the digits in the glass. Legacy on the knuckles, we don't worry about the past. 5 stars on the chest, glitched in the design. DC to the world, yeah, we crossing every line. God's child on the mic, yeah, we crossing every line. God's child on the mic, turning coal into ice. God's child on the mic, turning coal into ice. Giving Cowboys Nation a whole new slice of life. No capping.
All right, how y'all doing out there, man? We about to get into the show. Waiting on my special guest to come through, and then we'll definitely get into the show. I want to welcome everybody out there on all of the platforms that we're on. All right, make sure do it for all. Okay. All right. How y'all doing out there, man? It's your man, God's Child. This is the Star Treatment. We about to get into a great show today. Got special guest Kris Kretschman coming on the show today. We're going to chop it up with him, talk some Cowboys, get his take on how he look at the season coming in. Got a great segments and some questions to talk to him about because he always do a lot of deep diving and got his takes and perspectives on different things with the Dallas Cowboys. Some other teams too, but mostly he focus on everything with the Dallas Cowboys. So like we said, man, this Elite Nation, this is something new. We only been in effect, man, as far as podcasting a little over a week, man, and some of the love and some of the appreciation we getting out there from folks who love the Dallas Cowboys, love what we doing here, is very much appreciated. If you're on any of the social medias and you're watching this stream right now, you can get right in the live chat, make yourself be heard. We love people to be part of the show, interact, drop your comments in the chat. And you'll get shout outs and every shout out and every post or every feedback or every interaction and engagement will be highlighted as we do the show live. And we'll do shout outs as well on all of the social media platforms to thank folks for coming through and showing love. So got a great show, like I said, on tap for you. I'm your host, God's Child. This is the Star Treatment, everything elite about the Dallas Cowboys. All right, this is a Star Treatment podcast, everything elite. Everything is all about the Dallas Cowboys and more. Follow us on the streams on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at The Star Treat DC. Again, that's at The Star Treat DC. Again, one more time, that's at The Star Treat DC. Help us grow by sharing, liking, interacting, and engaging with everything we do. Jump in the live chat right now and be heard. All right. Also follow us on Facebook and follow us on YouTube at The Star Treatment. All right. Follow us on Facebook and on YouTube at The Star Treatment. Again, I'm your host, God's Child. I hope you like everything we're doing. And I'm just going to go ahead and start the show off with the intro. And then hopefully my man will come through and we'll get into interviewing him and go from there, man. Welcome to the Star Treatment.
In the booth, just the truth and the facts. No cap in the booth, just the truth and the facts. Elite takes on the table, no holding anything back. Get that real Star Treatment, May 20th if we lock in. 12 p.m. on the clock, the winning streak begins. Stay hip, stay connected, join the broadcast on the link. We the elite of the nation, faster than you can blink. The Star Treat, you see it, that's the handle, that's the crew. Bringing fire, brings a proof and a vision that's brand new. Navy blue and the gold, yeah, that's the color of the blood. From the turf to the booth, We rising up out the mud. Iced out pendant swinging, shining like the sun. May 29th at 12, yeah, the work has just begun. Exclusive coverage, top tier minds in the room. Clearing out the competition, hear the rumble and the boom. Elite Dallas Cowboys, yeah, the name says it all. When you dealing with the stars, you never gonna fall. Get that real star treatment, May 20th we lock in. 12 p.m. on the clock, the winning streak begins. Stay hit, stay connected, join the broadcast on the link. We the elite of the nation, faster than you can blink. The Star Trek, you see it, that's the handle, that's the crew. Bringing 5 rings of proof and a vision that's brand new. 5 rings, 1 show, the elite. You heard the stats, you know the history. Now witness the future. Set your reminders, we waiting on you. Get that real star treatment, May 20th we lock in. 12 p.m. on the clock, the winning streak begins. Stay hip, stay connected, join the broadcast on the link. We the elite of the nation, faster than you can blink. The Star Trek, you see it, that's the handle, that's the crew. Bringing 5 rings of proof and a vision that's brand new. Hey, the Star Trek DC, we out. May 29th, don't be late.
All right, man. I want to ask some questions to Cowboy fans out there, and I posted some of that on the previous stream that we did when we had my man RJ Ochoa on, and had a great time interviewing him and chopping it up with him, and just talking about things with the Cowboys, the outlook on the 2026 season. Some of the recent moves, realistic expectations for the Dallas Cowboys for the upcoming season. Also talked about which position group do you believe has our biggest strength? What does that present as far as concerns that you may have coming up for week 1 in the season? I put that out there. How do you feel about the front office taking some of the looks at the Jones and the way they've been moving for the offseason with some of the moves that was made with free agency, the draft, just looking at folks that we made some good moves as far as acquiring them from different teams via trade. How do you feel about OTAs? How do you feel about Brian Schottenheimer, Shoddy going into year 2 of the offense? What are some of the expectations? If you haven't heard or haven't been tapped in with some of the things on defense, how do you feel about Christian Parker being the defensive coordinator? How do you feel about him and some of his coaching schemes and some of the way he runs his defensive unit? Yeah, this is his first time calling plays as a defensive coordinator, but he did a lot of that in the standpoint of calling plays for the defensive secondary and the communication on third downs and important calls that he made at whatever stop he was at, whether that was at Denver, Philly, and now him being able to take over and have total control of the defense. He can now take all the things he learned and put that in effect and see how that works for a unit who desperately need to be coached up and to be fully aware and engaged, man, on every play. We've seen the breakdowns and some of the things that happened last year with the defense. I truly believe that this defense, as the year go on, my hot take was I believe that they're going to be a top 15, the top 10 defense by the middle part of the end of the year, and that should help us as long as everything stay as it was last year, and no injuries or things like that. Everybody healthy. I think that this team can really do something. And that's something that we all believe to a degree, but not as much as we believe this year with all of the great things that are going on in Dallas right now. So, again, I want to kind of throw that out to you. All right, again, I'm going to ask the question. I'm going to put it in the chat. I'm going to also put it in post style on Twitter X, on Instagram, and also on Facebook. And I just asking the question, man. Realistically, what should the expectations be for the Dallas Cowboys? Do you believe that they're going to be genuine Super Bowl contenders? You evaluate the strength of schedule this year. What are some stretch of games do you believe will define the season? And then what's the single biggest question you may have as a fan out there what do you feel like is something that you really want to talk about as far as the Dallas Cowboys is concerned? All right. Front office, looking at some of the controversial moves that was made in the offseason. I don't think they was really controversial, but it could be controversial to a fan that may feel like we ain't doing enough. How do you feel and assess the approach of free agency by the front office and the draft? Do you feel like they've done enough? Do you feel like you feel satisfied with what they did in both areas, whether it was free agency, whether it was the draft, or just in general, just the things that they're doing? How do you feel about, is there any pressure on Jerry, Steven? Do you feel like they've done enough to deliver a championship this year? And then if you look at the current roster and the way it's constructed, are you happy about what that means going forward as far as the window with Dak Prescott and this team in the future years? Will McClay, I got a chance to talk to him on one of the other platforms. My man Law Nation, shout outs to you. I got a chance, which was a bucket moment for me to talk to Will McClay, who constructed this team for years and years and years and been highly regarded as a figure in the organization that could have took opportunities at other places, but stuck with the Dallas Cowboys and the Joneses. And, as far as the pipeline, it's always been good, never a concern there. Do you think his opportunity to leave will ever be in place after this season, or is that something you're not concerned about? Second year, I talked about it, Brian Schottenheimer, having him come in and take over the offense and do some of the things he did last year with his system. Do you think it'll evolve to another level this year with some of the improvements that was made? What are your expectations on offense for the 2026 season? New weapons added. You can anticipate Schottenheimer kind of minimizing some of the things that they didn't do well last year. He talked about that as well. And just the excitement around no drama for the Dallas Cowboys this year. No drama at all, man. Pickens came in, signed his franchise, even talked about changing agents and just wanting to do what's best for himself, his family, and the Cowboys. I like everything that Pickens been talking about. And then we was able to get Brandon Aubrey in, and no drama with that, get him signed. And so all the Cowboys can do now is just wait for training camp, get the installs together, and get everybody in, and just go from there, man. Play some other teams, scrimmage against some other teams, and see how you look. Hit somebody else, man. I played sound bites on previous shows from Quinny Williams talking, Kenny Clark, my man Agent Zero, Overshown. Listen to Bland talk. Listen to Jaden Blue. The head coaches, Brian Schottenheimer, took 30 minutes to talk to how much he's happy about the progress and where they at so far going into this season. Christian Parker over and over talking about all the different schemes and the things that he's teaching from the classroom to the field and back. The players are excited, man. Folks talking about they glad the way things are the way they are this year, where you got folks that's invested. You see competition everywhere. Nobody is resting on their laurels. Nobody is thinking about, some of the past history and stuff and Super Bowls that are from the past. And, yeah, we all proud of that. But I want to see these folks make their own history. And Michael Irvin talked about that as well. So those folks that are there want to be there. Shoddy got a culture there with folks really engaged, listening to him, buying into what he been talking about. Christian Parker with the way he's calling the defense and just, having such a mental encyclopedia for scheming up defensive plays and the way he's going to attack teams from the defensive side of the ball. I'm refreshed. I'm excited, man. So I can't wait to get into the season. So here goes some of my hot takes for training camp. All right. Who's going to be the most surprising development and standout performer when we get to training camp? All right, who's going to be the rookie other than Caleb Downs that's going to make an impact for this season coming up? Who are some players that's under the radar I want to talk about that's going to have breakout seasons? I believe that the tight end that we picked up in the undrafted free agency pool, I believe he's going to make the team. I think he's going to be tight end number 2, and I think he's going to be another weapon for Dak Prescott to have on offense. I pretty much know that, like Shoddy says, it's refreshing to kind of go up against a defensive guru like Christian Parker in OTAs and practice and things like that. But like he said, just like the math is good on that side, he gonna make sure the offense math is just as good as well. So that should tell you something right there. Some of the games we struggled in last year against some of them good defenses, where it took us kind of like to the second quarter, going into the second half to kind of figure some things out where we were behind in games. Some games we won, like that Philadelphia games that we shouldn't have won, but we did. I was happy about that. Dominating Kansas City, even though it was kind of down year for them still. We went in. That game was really never in doubt. It was a little close at one point, but not really. You know what I'm saying? So, and we was able to pull that out on Thanksgiving Day. We had some other good wins in the season, but then we had some dubs like the Green Bay game where we couldn't put some offensive scores together enough in that game. We had a lot of shots in that game to win that game. And then the Carolina game, that was a head scratcher. Like, we knew we needed that game. We went in there. We felt like we practiced and was prepared for that. And I believe that was off a bye, if I'm not mistaken. And we still laid an egg on the field that game and couldn't figure it out for 4 quarters. And that one right there, I think, really hurt as far as us making the playoff. But, again, some things, again, like I want to post out there. And like I said, if you're listening to the show right now, you can definitely get in on some of the things. Got some comments on there, and I just want to kind of highlight some folks. My man Paul Stock, at Paul Stock, he says, how about them Cowboys for the upcoming season? You're absolutely right, Paul, man. You're absolutely right. Let me show that as well, man. Appreciate you in your comment. My man Justin Mark, he says, should the Cowboys move on from that? Nah, that's not no conversation. To win a championship? Nah, that's not no conversation, man. We're not gonna talk about that on there, but I'm gonna show you some love for your comment. That is the reason why we all should always understand one thing. That man last year lit it up, and had the defense did half of what they needed to do last year, you would have been talking about him as MVP candidate as well. But you can't win an MVP if you can't win enough games. And believe me, that offense did everything to keep us in games, and all that stuff should be appreciated as well. Got my man KJ. KJ says the Cowboys won't win anything. Man, that sounds like a hater. I ain't even gonna post that right there. That's crazy right there. My man Spider, Ray Jacks, 14. The Cowboys your favorite team? They my favorite team as well, man. Let me give you a star for that. Appreciate your comment as well, man. You keep rooting for them Cowboys, man, because I believe they're gonna make you happy this year. And then my man Justin Mark again said, the camera keeps zooming in and out. Yeah, man, it's cool. That's the effect, man. We're streaming on StreamYard, and a lot of the top podcasters use that. It's just an effect to give a little more motion to the stream, so that any head movement sometimes that I do, or from time to time if I'm still, it'll kind of pan out and zoom in. That's something from the camera I got, man. It's a vicious camera. Got 4K capability on it, which we're streaming in, so that's always good. So just to answer your question, that's why it keeps zooming in and out. I hope that's not interfering or bothering you as far as a viewer, because we always wonder, like I said, this show, the Star Treatment, is all about bringing content in on an elite, deep level to the Dallas Cowboy fan base and Cowboy Nation out there. And if you're part of the show, you're following us back. Anybody that follows us on all of the social networks, we call in our nation Elite Nation, because everything about us and everything that we do is elite. And the show is going to keep on gradually getting better and better with enhanced graphics and stuff that's going to be studio style. So I can't wait till we start the season off. But everything that we talk about, man, I'm trying to tell you on the show, it's going to be elite, all right? So let me get into the intro, all right? What's good, Cowboy Nation and Elite Nation? Welcome back to the Elite Dallas Cowboy Podcast, brought to you by The Star Treatment. I'm your host, God's Child, your man, we do what we have. We got a special show lined up for you today. If you're watching on YouTube, smash that like button, hit the subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss an episode. And for all my audio listeners on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and all the platforms that podcasts are heard, please leave us a 5-star rating. Help us bring the very best to the Cowboy Nation with the content out there. And if, like I said, you like what you're hearing and listening to and what you're watching, please follow us on all of the social medias, all right? All right, man. First thing I want to do is just talk about and introduce my special guest. He'll be on, he's on now. I just want to talk about him because he's one of the reasons why I do what I do, and a couple of other folks that, if you don't know all of the great contents that's out there for streamers out there and folks doing podcasts and on YouTube, my man Kris Kretschman, man, his shows and some of the posts and content that he put on there is bar none one of the best out there, man. I give him shout outs and his due. I always try to show love to all those folks out there that keep the content going with the Cowboys and it's not negative. I love his takes and some of the way he present his content to bring you and engage you in. And I reached out to him and he reached right back, and I was very, very appreciative of him coming on the show today, man. He got a YouTube channel called the Kris Kretschman Show. He has become a go-to destination for Cowboys fans everywhere. His stance on hot takes, his interviews are legendary, like the Brian Broaddus interview he had. He dissects a lot of the offseason moves. He covers everything from OTA to Super Bowl aspirations. Having Kris be a part of the show is a healthy balance. He gives folks optimism, but he's more realistic about his approach and the way that he covers the Cowboys. He's not afraid to call it how he see it. And his praise for the front office is right on, man. Like, he holds them accountable for everything, which I do as well. And my man RG Ochoa does the same thing. I had him on the show the other day. He had some good things to say about Kris and told me I'm definitely going to enjoy talking to him as well. So from championship takes from the NFC breakdown, Kris has proven time and time again that he's one of the premier voices for covering America's team. I just want to give talking heads out there and give him a heads up. We appreciate you and happy to have him on the show today.
Hey, how you doing?
What's up, Kris, man? How you doing?
First off, I want to apologize for my tardiness, but been a little busy here, but getting to talk to you, it's gonna be a fun time here.
Hey, man, I appreciate you coming on, man. First of all, I did the monologue and tried to give you the proper introduction that you does, but I want you to kind of introduce yourself, man. I love your channel, man. I love your YouTube channel. Your posts be right on, man. The content be right on, and it's refreshing to, kind of connect with some of the folks that I've been watching for a long time. Keep us tapped in with what's been going on with the Cowboys and things like that. Come kind of the inspiration why I do what I do. But again, go ahead and take over the show. Introduce yourself, man. And if we could talk about the Cowboys, let's go ahead and do it.
So appreciate the monologue that you had there. I really appreciate the kind words. So my name is Kris Kretschman. Started doing content back in 2021. And, one thing that I always say is now the way I approach business is try to take advantage of market deficiencies. And a deficiency that I saw in the market when I started, and it wasn't even intentional per se, was that nobody was really on TikTok. And I felt like that was a platform that hasn't been tapped into. And I mean, I think for the first 2 years of my time posting content there, it was like nobody has been on the app, and like 2 years in, I have like 20,000 plus followers, and I'm like, whoa, I think I found something here. So right. I was posting a lot of content to TikTok when I was working at UPS prior to me going full time with this. And I posted content before work. I would get up like super early because I just had a vision about doing this full time. And like nobody was going to stop me from that vision that I had. But of course, it had to make sense financially, because I did leave a really good job. But it wasn't a job that I particularly liked all that much. And
Right.
this is something that I absolutely love doing. So, but again, uh, it had to make sense financially. So it got to a point where TikTok was gracious enough that they introduced a program for creators where, and kind of to inform the audience about this, they pay out very well for this specific program that I'm in. So much so it's like it's livable wages, and it's like it's good wages. So that's what was able to get me out of UPS and doing this full time. And then, I started to build my YouTube page up a little more because I saw that was a market that I could grow in, but I didn't really take too much time it's not that I just didn't have the time really to build a whole YouTube page out while I was building out a TikTok page and an Instagram page and clocking in like 50 hours a week in my previous job. So now, there's no excuses, which is why I've been as active as I've been on YouTube. So the journey has definitely been long. It's, people don't know this, but I actually have been podcasting since I was about, what am I, 29 years old now, since I was about 15, 16 years old. I still am massive comic book fan. So I started doing podcasts about like comic book movies. And then it transitioned more into like basketball was my first love. I always loved football, in particular the Cowboys, but basketball was my first love until honestly 2017. And that's where I was just like, all right, KD just joined the Warriors. This isn't even going to be fun to watch anymore. So, now like my main thing, and don't get it twisted, like it was more so, think of my love for football and basketball like George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb on the Cowboys. So it was a 1A, 1A, AB. So yeah, so I did podcasting on comic books when I was younger, and then that transitioned into basketball, and then that transitioned more so into, I took a little bit of a break, but then I got back into it in 2021, talking about the Cowboys, and yeah, and here we are now.
.808 thump. Hey, lead nation. If you ain't following yet, what we doing? It's the star treatment where Big D's new era get the boy a welcome. Hit that follow button at the Star Treat DC. THE Star Treat DC. Again, that's at the Star Treat DC. Drop a star in the comments, slide in the DMs. Tell a friend to tell a friend we moving as a team. Godchild signing on. Stay royal. Elite Nation.
What about your outlook? I talked to RJ about some of the things I'm going to be talking to you with, but I'm kind of do it a little different. What's your outlook on the 2026 season? I kind of know from some of your posts and stuff like that, but
for sure,
for people on the show, I want you to kind of talk about how you feeling about the things they've been doing, how they've been moving, some of the moves, OTAs. Go ahead and talk to folks and give them your expertise in that area.
So, it's funny. One thing that I don't feel like gets talked about enough is what this offense is going to be this upcoming year. I think people know it's going to be really good, but I think people don't know how good this offense is actually going to be. And, I'm not trying to come out of the bat here trying to sound like a homer or anything, but, I think it's fair to say that this offense is going to be an elite unit, but one thing that isn't being talked about enough is they didn't lose a single starter from their offense. Not a single starter. Offensive line, all intact. Their wide receivers, all intact. Their tight end, quarterback, running back, all intact. So, and it's not like they were an old offense by any means. Like their interior three, they're all on their rookie contract. Same with their left tackle. George Pickens was on his rookie contract. Now he's on a franchise tag. Javonte Williams is on a manageable contract. But like these guys are like, this is a young offense still. Dak is going to be 33 this year, but 33 for a quarterback. I mean, he could play for another 7-8 years, to be honest with you.
Yep.
And it sounds like, when I say that, it sounds crazy for people to say, but it's like Matt Stafford just won an MVP at like 37 years old. But back to the outlook on the Cowboys. So the offense, I think, is going to be incredible this year. And I think it's going to be even better than people expect. But, I do want to pump the brakes just a bit on the defense. And the main reason why is like, I like what they did, but I liked what they did because they took a step in the right direction. And what I mean is, like, one thing that drives me up a wall is football cliches. And a football cliche that people have is, well, you stop the run to rush the passer. And that is true. But the thing is, with cliches, I really don't like cliches because people don't actually live by them. So when the Cowboys this offseason say, hey, we agree you stop the run to rush the passer, so what we're going to do this offseason is we're going to go get personnel that's going to help us stop the run. And I feel like they did a good job of that. The defensive tackles that they brought in are guys that can play stout against the run. Moving on from Oso Digizua, while that is going to be a loss, he is a guy that he is not stout against the run. He gets pushed around in the run game. So while you're losing a good player like Oso Digizua, I think because of the fit that these guys have for the defense, I think you might get a better result as an overall defense because of that. But, I do worry about the cornerbacks. I think Kobe Durant's, I think he's a fine player, but we don't know what Revel is. Bland has struggled to stay healthy. I mean, that's a real thing. He's hurt right now as we sit right here. The safeties are, I think, going to be fantastic this year. The linebackers, I think they're going to be better than people think. It's for sure an upgrade from last year. And I think that the defensive line, it's a good unit, but I do worry about their ability to get after the quarterback. And the main thing I worry about is the pass defense, because if you don't have consistent edge pressure, and you have suspect cornerbacks, you might be susceptible to teams being able to put together a lot of scoring drives here. But where I would say, this is where I do think it's actually smart the way they built their defense, is because I think they built their defense to complement their offense. And there's multiple ways you can do that. You can do it the more risky way, which is what the Cowboys did during the Dan Quinn era, where, you get hyper athletes and you get after the quarterback and, they're able to get a lot of takeaways. But with what the Cowboys are doing now, I feel like they're building a stout defensive line, which allows like teams are not going to be able to run the ball as effectively as they've been able to run the ball in the Cowboys. And that's a good thing, because now, if you're able to get teams in 2nd and 9, 3rd and 7,
I agree.
But not only that, right? Not only that, if teams are going to score on the Cowboys, I want them to do it quickly. I don't want them to do it where they're deliberately holding onto the football and running the football down your throat and putting together 15 to 18 play drives because they're running the ball so effectively, because that keeps your offense on the field. If they're going to score quickly and let the offense get back on the field. That's the way I look at this. So because I don't want this offense on the sideline. I want them on the field more often. And I feel like the Cowboys did a good enough job this offseason of making sure that this offense isn't going to be on the field isn't going to be off the field for 7 to 9 minutes at a time.
See, I'm gonna piggyback off of what you said. I like the way you broke that down, because actually what you're speaking to is some of the things that Christian Parker been talking about. If you listen to his interviews, he was talking about it when he first got here. He was talking about it throughout, whenever he has a microphone in front of him. It's almost like listening to someone teaching you about defense, breaking it down, talking about schemes, formats, formation, how they're going to be conceiving certain things. Remember, our defense was so bad, we came out there with the same base look. Folks already knew what we was doing. Sometimes you had players not even knowing where they supposed to be lining up at. Like, it was that bad. And I just so happy to hear more about coaching. And I listened to Quinny Williams talk the other day in his press conference when they was interviewing him. and he kept talking about how it's pen and paper now in it where you got to be on your P's and Q's about where you're supposed to be at, what the man next to you supposed to be doing. Somebody else has to talk and speak to about after he asks Quinny a question. It goes to Kenny Clark and someone else. So everybody has to be more aware. And he keep talking about being more multiple. I like those things as well because it piggybacks on what you're saying. Our defense was so bad that we couldn't get folks off the field. We couldn't stop the run. And yeah, the run defense got better, but then you had linebackers that were hesitant in reading, where they supposed to be at or how to get around a block and things. I mean, it was bad, man. I used to look at games and look from the defense and offensive play because that's what decides the game mostly is who being more physical and who is able to impose their will on the person across from them. But when we were able to get the third down, I just couldn't understand how you have a head coach that, and I said this, Dallas, all they do on defense probably the last 5 years is they get folks that are from some other place. And yeah, Dan Quinn was great for us in what he did as far as getting turnovers. But there were a lot of games when Dan Quinn was our coordinators, we was getting blown out in games too. And that's with Michael Parsons on the field. So I just think you got somebody now that can, like you said, help the offense get more touches, get more chances to drive the ball and score. That's a plus for Brian Schottenheimer anyway in the second year. And he talked about learning from some of the film and talking to other organizations that, they kind of change certain way they do things as far as practicing and all those things. So that kind of goes back to what you're saying. But I want your take on, because you broke this down on one of your posts that you put on and you talked about it on your YouTube channel. Break down your NFC East and how you think the division will fall and who you think will be from top to bottom.
I'm going to go with I'll start bottom to top to create some suspense here. I have the Commanders at 4, just not a very talent-rich football team, very talent-poor in certain areas. Jayden Daniels showed that he is a good quarterback his rookie season, but his second season left a little bit to be desired, and he was unable to stay healthy. So if you can't rely on Jayden Daniels to stay healthy, that's going to be a big problem for Washington. But I just think overall, even with Jayden Daniels being healthy, I just think their roster isn't very good. At number 3, I have the New York Giants. And the reason why I'm not as sold on the Giants as a lot of other people are, I thought that the Harbaugh hire was a little bit overrated just because, I've been looking at John Harbaugh for years saying, wow, look at the teams that you have and you haven't been able to make a Super Bowl. I know I know he made one, I believe, what was that, back in 2013, I believe it was. But we're in the year of 2026. I think Mike McCarthy won the Super Bowl the year prior. So, and I don't think anybody's looking at Mike McCarthy saying, wow, look at this guy. He's, an absolute genius head coach. So I just look at John Harbaugh and I say, look at what he did with much more talented rosters with a much better quarterback than what Jackson Dart is. And that's where I have a little bit of trepidation there. I'm going to go with the Eagles at 2. And the reason why is because I think they're in one of these transition years. They had a tremendous amount of success with A.J. Brown, with some of the guys that they had on their defense. And I think they're in a little bit of a transition, soft rebuild phase of where they're at. I don't know what's going to happen with Jalen Carter. I think there is a real possibility that they trade him. I actually think he's going to get traded, maybe not before the season. But that is a contract dispute that not enough people are talking about. And that's also the thing, like, to get a little bit off track for just a second. When it comes to the Cowboys and their contracts, like, people will point at Philly and say, oh, well, this would never happen in Philly. It's like, kind of is happening in Philly. But that's besides the point. And then I have the Cowboys at 1. And the reason why I say that is because, defense does win championships, but offense, what do they say? Offense wins games, defense wins championships. And I think the Cowboys are going to win a lot of games because of their offense and because I think their defense is going to be much better. Is it going to be like a top 10 unit? I'm not ready to say that. Top 15, I'd be a little more comfortable saying that maybe they're a top 15 unit. But again, we'll have to wait and see on that. But I do expect them to be a lot better than they were last year. And if they were a better defense last year than what they were, like if they're a better defense this season than what they were last year, like last season, if they were, I don't know, a top 20 defense, they probably would have won. I mean, I do want to be.
More games, I believe.
They would have won the Packers game. They would have won the Panthers game. I think they would have won the Giants game at the end of the season. And if they were a better defense, I think they win the Vikings game as well. They just could not do anything with JJ McCarthy, which is absolutely crazy to say because he's not even going to be their starting quarterback this year. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, they made a lot of quarterbacks look real good. I mean, you can take Russ for instance. He not even on the team no more. Didn't even get. I think after he played us, I think he only played one more game after that. So we made a lot of quarterbacks look better than what they really is last year because the defense was so bad. I'm so glad you said what you said. As far as that's why I wanted you to talk about the NFC East because the way you broke it down is kind of like what people not talking about. It's kind of like going window shopping. You see what's in the window. You're like, oh, they got good stuff in the store. And then you go in the store and really the good things were only what you was walking past.
Exactly.
What you seen. So I feel like the Giants might be a little bit better, but you brought up some things that I had always talked about that folks don't talk about unless you're a Dallas Cowboy coach when it comes to talking about Harbaugh. I for years said that nobody ain't talking about how he keep failing in the playoffs, how they keep failing in those big games in the playoffs, even games in the season where they were up in games and lose. I think he lost more games as a head coach with the point differential that he had in the history of the NFL. And you can go back and check that. So
that makes sense. I believe you.
he coming in talking about they're gonna beat us on Monday night and it ain't gonna be as easy as it was in previous years. If he don't know that record alone, the NFC East, even the Philadelphia Eagles, I don't worry about anybody in the division. My interest is outside of the division, and that's no disrespect. That's not me saying something just because I'm a homer. I'm not a homer. I'm one of them folks that I speak. If the Cowboys ain't doing things I feel like they need to be doing, whether it's the front office or not, and that's what I like about you, and that's what I like about RJ, and that's why I reached out to both of y'all. So because y'all give folks that pill that need to be talked about, whether you're going to take it and ingest it and be realistic, because they call our fan base to a degree delusional. But for the most part, most of the people that I know that I talk to that are in the industry that streams and close to the Cowboys, they don't talk delusional. They say what they need to say and they stand 10 toes down on it. And that's what I like about you and some of your takes and things like that.
And to add to that real quick, because it's funny, I do get called overly optimistic at times, but my thing is like, okay, what exactly do you want me to get on them for this off season? Like I think they had a really good off season. I mean,
yeah,
they hired a defensive coordinator that was in demand. I mean, they added some good talent to this defense. They got aggressive, traded up for Caleb Downs. I mean, we could talk about the George Pickens conversation, but like, dude, George Pickens ain't signing for less than $40 million. Like, people can get that out of their minds. Like, I have that on good authority that he's not signing for anything less than $40 million. So, if the Cowboys aren't willing to pay that, it's, I mean, are fans willing to pay George Pickens $40 million? Because that's what it's going to take. And if you're not, if that's a figure you're uncomfortable with the Cowboys giving, then I think people need to kind of relax a little bit on that front because they're not accepting anything lower than that.
So tell me this. Give me your take on this, because I believe that if Shoddy offense be what I think it's going to be, like you alluded to, and he talked about it as well. If their offense be anywhere close to last year, maybe a little better, are you all right if they don't sign him? Because I just feel like if $40 million next year going to be cheap for his type of talent, and yeah, you got CD, who I think he's coming up a year or so from now, or 2 years or something like that. He'll be up for another re-up. You heard him talk about how money is not important, and GP keep talking about money ain't important. I think heard things about him maybe switching to get another agent because he don't feel like his agent is in line with what he feel like for his family, for himself, and the Cowboys. I think he'll take a nice deal to stay with the Cowboys, because look what he had to deal with before. Like, he had success with he was successful, but didn't have the type of quarterback. Now they got the type of quarterback. They got the camaraderie. All you hear is Dak talking about he wasn't worried about whether he was going to be there or not, because they talk to each other on the phone a lot. And when you got that relationship with another receiver who's, I feel like, is A1, and people were kind of saying he wasn't with CD, and I thought that was crazy how folks act like they keep forgetting about how good he was. He missed a couple of games last year and still had a monster season. And yeah, folks, I probably can't forget about that first game with Philly. He great. He never has those type of games, so I thought that was like a one-off, and it wasn't like he wasn't trying to make some of those catches and stuff like that. But we had our shots in that game. The only thing I'm saying is, do you really believe, or do you think that $40 million would be too much to sign him? I mean, because I want to keep that. I want to keep what they got going. I want to keep it. If it costs a little bit more, I'm willing to do that. I think the Joneses is willing to do that, but I guess they want to see how he comes into the season. He signed it, came in. I feel like that's a plus. And all he talking about is helping them win. I feel like that's a plus too.
Well, here's the thing. We don't really know everything behind closed doors. Like, so for example, that situation that happened in Vegas, where they miss curfew, him and CeeDee Lamb. Like, look, we laughed it off. It was a good laugh and everything, but you have to look at it from the Cowboys' perspective. Like, they did not like that. And they didn't like that CeeDee Lamb did it either. It wasn't just a George Pickens thing. They weren't picking on George there. But I mean, think about it. They're on Monday Night Football, right? ESPN. The game after, that was the first game after their bye, which was the first game after Marshawn Nealon passed away. It was a gigantic spotlight, and you got George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb on the bench to start the game because they missed curfew. It's like you see stuff like that. Like, he's got to be better with being on time with things. He's got to be better in the meeting rooms. Like, these are things that they're worried about. And when you're paying somebody $40 million, you want more than just a guy that comes in and does what he's supposed to do and bounces. You want a guy that's going to do more than what's expected of him, because when you're paying somebody that type of money, teams want to see that stuff. And that's part of the reason why Micah Parsons is not here anymore. So,
Amen.
Like, would I pay George Pickens $40 million? Like, I would, because I believe in the talent that much. I've been saying this. I think from a talent perspective, he's the top 3 receiver in football. I think the only receivers in football that are better from a pure talent standpoint are Jefferson and Chase. And that's no disrespect to CeeDee Lamb. That's just George Pickens has gifts that CeeDee Lamb just wasn't born with. George Pickens' catch radius, but the things that go into his catch radius with his height, his arm length, his natural ability to track the ball in the air. I talk about explosive plays all the time because they're so damn important. Offensive coordinators chase explosive plays. And the reason why is because these defenses want teams to, in these 15, 18 play drives, because they believe eventually with enough 15 to 18 play drives, you're going to make a mistake. And at that point, multiple mistakes. And if they can win the turnover battle, there's a high chance that they're going to win that game. So to me, if you have a guy who can generate explosives, especially against the defenses that you play against today, that's massive. So I would do it. And I actually do kind of like the Cowboys' approach here, because they might look at this at the end of the season and say, hey, we probably need to extend George Pickens, and then we might need to make a decision on CeeDee Lamb because he is older than him. I think he's got 2 years on him. So like, that's something to pay attention to. But also, like I say this all the time, why can't you pay both of these receivers? You know, they're going to talk about salary cap restraints and all that. But last time I checked, the Eagles were able to pay 2 tackles, top of the market money, a running back, top of the market money, a quarterback that at the time he signed the contract, it was a market setting money. The center, the left guard, both of them get paid big time money. They had 2 receivers that were getting money. Like AJ was getting big time money, and then Devontae was getting some money. Dallas Goedert was getting money. Darius Slay was getting money. They paid Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. They paid all of these guys. So the way I look at this is like, hey, I get it. You don't want to find yourself in salary cap hell 2-3 years down the line. But my pushback to that would be, well, yeah, but like the Cowboys are always thinking 3 years from now instead of where their feet are at today. And I think it really puts a cap on potential runs, because, I mean, when was the last time we saw this team and we were just like, oh man, who can stop this team? Like heading into the playoffs, once we saw the full season play out, when was the last time we were like, man, who can stop this team? Because they're so damn talented. It's been a while. I mean, the 2007 team maybe? But even then, it's like, hey, the Patriots are still on the other side of the bracket. So, yeah, I mean, that's a criticism that I have with them.
All right. So my other question I was going to ask you, which you already answered, and I believe this, at the end of the year, and I said this kind of what you said, but I feel a little more stronger just kind of listening to a lot of the players in these interviews and how they just keep talking about the competition is high at every position, even positions that you may feel like, not yourself in general, but folks keep talking about, hey, they didn't sign a linebacker, blah, blah, blah. I listened to Christian, I listened to Jerry, I even listened to Steven and Brian. They keep saying that they like what they done and they like the room. The room last year was horrible. I mean, like we had 13 players on defense that's not even there no more. So that's how much the turnover was on defense. And then we lost 6 other players on offense, but those players wasn't all players that really made an impact on the team anyway. So I believe that the defense going to be a top 10 defense at the end of the year. I believe that they definitely going to be in the 15, and that's middle of the pack. If they could be there, I feel like that'll give the offense more chances. Folks keep talking about that though, right? Will he get over the hump? How you feel about him, man? I've never felt negative about him at all. He only had that one game that kind of scratched my head, and that was that Green Bay game when we got blowed out. Saying that was the first time I seen him ever show a little lack of confidence in a game. But other than that, I've been very happy with him, man. Anytime he's healthy, the Cowboys put up a lot of wins, and he knows the offense in and out. I keep telling people that his windows, people keep talking about he only could throw mid-range passes and things. Man, if you don't know with CD there, if you don't know with GP there, that man going down the field, even Turpin, who I heard on another platform, someone called him a gimmick, and we need to get rid of him. How do you feel about that overall? And do you believe that this will be his chance to get over that playoff hump?
So, the interesting thing about Dak and just the quarterback position in general, I try to paint the picture here for people when it comes to the quarterback position, but there is no position in sports that is more reliant on the players around them than the quarterback position and just the coaches around them. I'm not trying to take up for Dak. This is with any quarterback in the NFL, because the way I look at it is, if your offensive line can't block, if your receivers can't get open, if you can't run the ball, if your your play caller isn't dialing up good plays, well, you're not going to have a very good quarterback, no matter how good your quarterback actually is. So, and especially if your defense can't stop anybody, again, that's going to put your quarterback in a really bad situation. I think it's very lazy of people to say, well, the Cowboys haven't made a playoff run since Dak has been there. It's Dak's fault. I more so look at the position of quarterback as a 1 of 11 position more than, the one on the team. I do think when people talk about wins being a quarterback stat, I don't agree with that, but I will say there is a little bit of truth to it, because if you have a bad quarterback, you're not going to win games. But if you have a good team around that bad quarterback, it's going to make the bad quarterback look a lot better. And vice versa. If you have a really good quarterback, but you have a bad team around him, you're going to make that quarterback look a lot worse. So, when it comes to Dak, I do believe in Dak. I do think, what's interesting about Dak is he came into the NFL and he was not as prolific of a passer as maybe people thought that he was when he came in. He just wasn't. So he had a different type of development path where you really started to see Dak Prescott turn into Dak Prescott around that 2019 season. He had a lot of momentum going into the 2020 season, and then the injury happened then. But, you go into 2021, thought he had an outstanding year that year. 2022 left a little bit to be desired there, but I do think he played a little better than people give him credit for. 2023, he was outstanding. 2024, not good. 2025, he was outstanding. So I think he's going to end up being one of these guys, not saying he has the career trajectory or that he's going to be looked at like this guy when it comes to an all-time ranking. But I think it's probably going to be like a Peyton Manning type situation where people called him a playoff choker until he eventually got over the hump. So, with Dak, he does need to perform better in the playoffs. But I think that is something that you look at and you say, for now, he has not played his best football in the playoffs. It could change, it could. But I mean, I do think the criticism is fair. Do I think it should be the only thing that people talk about when they talk about Dak? Absolutely not, because I think he does so many great things that, because winning a championship, doing great things, it's all about building a foundation and building upon that foundation, right? I think Dak lays a lot of bricks, in a good way. Like he's laying down a lot of bricks. He's building a foundation. And, I think eventually that is going to lead. I mean, it just depends on the roster. To me, that's my main point. It depends on the roster. If you're telling me is a good enough roster to win a Super Bowl, then I think he'll get it done. This year, again, a little bit too much uncertainty for me to, do the what is it, the Babe Ruth, where you're pointing to where you're going to hit the home run and say, yeah, this is what it's going to be. But I do think that there is, I think that there is a path for Dak Prescott in his career to get this team over the top. And if that's the case, I mean, this guy's going to be a Hall of Famer.
All right. You touched on CD a little bit. I don't want to stay too. I don't want to kind of talk about that too much. I just kind of want to say that I believe CD is a competitor. I believe, the relationship he has with GP is one of those relationships that I think you can kind of go back to those years with Mike Irvin, Emmitt Smith, and Troy Aikman, where everybody just want to see each other have success and win games and do it together. And I think what they got is unique, and it'll definitely help on the field. But like he was telling Kristen Parker in practice the other day, don't get it twisted. He's still wide receiver A1 in his eyes. And so if somebody don't think that, he can show them. So I do like some of the going back and forth in OTAs with him and some of the backs. I do believe what you were saying about the cornerbacks. I think we're in a better place there, because before, if Bland went down, you had all these people on defense that either been there, we brought them back, they wasn't that good. We gave them years and years to try to take a position or win the position, and they never did. I feel like now you got a better cornerback room. And I believe that some of the development with Christian Parker is going to make everyone better there. I want to know, what's your biggest X factor for the Cowboys this season?
Biggest X factor to me is if Jaden Blue can be the running back number 2 on this team, or just a contributing player, because, I talk about explosive plays because I think that's just how you have effective offenses. When it comes to Jaden Blue, the problem with him, and I'll go on for a little bit about this. They're worried about what he can do Tuesday through Saturday. And that was a tough evaluation for the Cowboys. And the reason why I say it was a tough evaluation is because his running back coach at Texas, who was very close with the Cowboys organization, Tashard Choice, I
remember him.
He had another NFL job. He's with the Detroit Lions now. So, it was a little tough because position coaches really know these guys better than any other coach on the team. They're in the meeting rooms with these guys. They have much more to manage with those positions. And, there was a story that came out from Glenn Stretch Smith where he was talking about that there are concerns about Jaden Blue. He didn't get that from the Cowboys. He got that from the University of Texas and Tashard Choice, but he wasn't able to disclose any information to the Cowboys because he was a coach of an NFL team at the current moment.
Okay.
But when you look at Jaden Blue, he has real talent, right? And, I actually just dropped a video on this. I talked about it on my podcast today. When it comes to Malik Davis, yeah, that's an option. But the reason why I don't feel like we're talking about Malik Davis all that much is because I think we know what the player is. It's not a high ceiling type player. He's 27 years old. I don't expect him to have a breakout year at the age of 27. That just doesn't happen like that. But Jaden Blue, him breaking out and being able to be somebody that the Cowboys rely on, that to me would be a big time X factor, because Javonte Williams, he had a lot of carries last year. He's asked to do a lot in that offense. And if you could take some of the load off of his plate, I think that would really help him. And, to me, with Jaden Blue, it's about being dialed in Tuesday through Saturday, locking in, and then pass protection, because it's hard to keep a running back on the field if you can't pass protect.
Okay. I want to go through the schedule a little bit. And then, I want to thank you for coming on and definitely going through, I know you're busy. I know I see everything you're doing, so I really appreciate it. Let's go through the schedule.
Absolutely.
First, wins and losses. We can go game by game. We talked about New York. That's a Sunday night game, September 13th. Opening at MetLife Stadium. We got a good record against them coming out the gate. It's always a tough game at home with them, but we find ways to win those games as well. What's your take on the Giants?
They'll win that game.
Washington Commanders, that's on Fox, Sunday game, September 20th. That's a home opener at AT&T. How you feel about that game?
They'll win that game as well.
This the game I'm interested in, and folks, every person that I've seen said we're gonna lose this game, but I feel a little different about this game. The Baltimore Ravens in Rio.
I have them losing that game. And the reason why I say that is because Lamar Jackson has an incredible record against the NFC. And there's a reason behind that, because he's a difficult quarterback to game plan for, especially when you're not game planning for him, as often as, let's just say, quarterbacks within the division or within the conference. So I think the Ravens are going to be a really good team. I think that's going to be a tough game. I think the Cowboys probably lose that one.
Okay. I feel like if certain things play out as far as the way the defense is, coming into this game, I feel like with Christian, he may have some things that will keep them from, most of these type games get away from us early, and that's the main reason why we lose these type of games. But I think it's a little different. And, and everything. I kind of feel like we could win that game, but I kind of feel like we could lose that game as well. Week 4, Houston on Fox, Sunday game.
You know what? I'm gonna go. I think it's gonna be a very low scoring game. I think the Cowboys pull it out like 17-14.
Okay. Tampa Bay. That's gonna be on Amazon Thursday night game.
Yeah, I have them winning that game.
Okay. Week 6. I don't really. It's not no game that I'm worried about, but folks gonna be talking about it just because it's Green Bay. But from what I found out, Micah might not even be playing in this game, and I honestly don't care if he was. So that's a Sunday night game.
I have them winning that game. I have a lot of questions about the Packers going into this season, so I don't think they're going to be a very good team this year. And I think last year they had a real shot to beat Dallas in Dallas, but Dak played out of his mind that game. So I think the Cowboys probably walk away with a win here.
All right. Week 7, first matchup against those Eagles. That'll be a Monday night affair. The Eagles always tough at home. Atmosphere always hostile. We know about that, but Dad don't really care about that. He has a good record against them as well. So, how you feel about that game?
I have them splitting with the Eagles this year. I think this is a game that they lose. So I would have a loss here, but I think it's going to be one of those games where it's going to be a really close game. I think the Eagles make a play or two at the end of the game to pull that out. But yeah, they always split with them, and they've had trouble recently, and vice versa with the Eagles in Dallas, but they've had trouble winning in Philadelphia, and Philadelphia's had trouble winning in Dallas. So I think that's probably going to continue. I think they split there.
Okay. You don't think they're going to fall back? I've been talking about, I think they're going to fall back. The reason why I feel like they're going to fall back is this reason. They don't have A.J. Brown, right? So now it's going to put more on that receiving core. And then they have some they have some coaching personnel that's not there no more. And I don't think that offensive line is as good as it's been in years. I think this is probably the weakest it's been in years. So I don't think they're going to really be able to dictate. And they weren't that good on offense. So I don't think they're going to be much better this year on offense. So that means that they're going to be in close games like they were the year before. And I think when you play around with that enough where you're just winning games, because remember, they was doing that even that year they went to they went high in the playoffs. I believe that when they went to the Super Bowl, they had that type of offense where they were struggling in patches and things like that. I think it's going to be worse for them this year. But we'll move on to the Arizona Cardinals.
Man, dude,
we don't play good against them.
For some reason, man, dude, like it's not. They're a better team. The Cowboys are clearly a better team than the Cardinals. I'm not saying that, but man, they have had some difficulty. No matter how poor the damn Cardinals are, they've had some difficulty beating that team. You know what? I'll say just because I think Mike McCarthy and Jason Garrett, Brian Schottenheimer, they lost to them last year. So you know what? I'll go Cowboys. But I don't feel confident in that. Again, not because the Cowboys aren't significantly better than them. They are. But the Cowboys have been significantly better than the Cardinals in a lot of these games in the past, and they've still found a way to lose that game. But I'll go Cowboys in that game.
All right. Indianapolis, Fox, Sunday game. That's week 9. So that's a road trip. You feel they went. They played better on the road than folks give them credit for. It's just that they've looked bad in some spots. But like you said,
I think they win that game.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe they win that game.
I guess this the game folks want to see us. Week 10, San Francisco, Fox, Sunday game.
I think they get that monkey off their back. I think they win that game as well. I'm not 100% bought in on San Francisco this year. I think they're going to have some difficulty here. So yeah, I think the Cowboys win that game.
I'm there with you too. I think they lost a lot and they're dealing with a lot of stuff that if it was the Dallas Cowboys, people would be killing us for if we had some of the stuff going on. Week 11, Tennessee, Sunday game.
That's a win. Yeah, they're going to win that game.
All right. We said they'll split. Philadelphia Eagles, Thanksgiving.
Yep. I think they win that game in Dallas.
All right. People chalk this up as a loss for us. Week 13, Seattle, Monday night.
I think that's going to be a loss. They're going into Seattle. I believe that game. That's going to be a tough environment. I think they lose that game.
All right. So then they get the bye. Coming out the bye, they facing the team that everybody's saying just get them the championship. The Los Angeles Rams. That'll be on CBS Sunday game.
I think again they're playing in LA. That's going to be a pro Dallas crowd for sure. But I think they're gonna struggle with the Rams. Yeah, I think they lose that game.
All right, here's the team that we've played sparingly, and they seem to have had success against us. But again, that's not the same team. But again, Week 16, Jacksonville Jaguars. That's on NBC Sunday night game.
Dallas wins that game.
All right, so then we got two games left. You got the New York Giants. That's on Fox Sunday game. Home game.
Dallas is going to win that game. Dallas is going to win that game.
All right, and then Week 18. Haven't determined when the game will be, but that'll be against the Washington Commanders. That'll be the season finale at Washington.
They'll win that game as well.
Okay, we'll keep track of that and see where it falls. We're gonna wrap up. I want to do some hot takes. The Brazil game, I believe that Baltimore game will be a real swing for the season. International traveling and elite opponent that could shape the entire first half of our season. Against the Eagles. Split series, but I believe that we could win both games. But again, the mantra is we always split with them. 5-game stretch from week 3 to 7. I believe if we can win that game against the Raven, we could run the table. And I think that's going to be our hardest stretch. That week 3 to week 7. 49 a game. I don't think it's a measuring stick. I think we'll beat them. And then if they can handle business against the Giants and the Commanders, we should have a control of the division, and we should have a good chance to make a run in the playoffs. Kris, man, you've been amazing. Thank you, man. Real talk, real analyst, no BS, man. You've been exactly what we needed on the show. Appreciate you coming through. And before we let you go, man, I got a final question for you. If you can give advice to any Cowboy fan out there about the 2026 season, what would be the message and what word of encouragement would you give to them in a reality check?
Let's give Christian Parker some time. He's still first-time defensive coordinator. I've been saying this. He's not Christian Parker, the defensive coordinator candidate anymore. He's Christian Parker, the defensive coordinator. And, look, these things take time. So, give him some time. I think it's going to look, I think towards the end of the season, it's going to look a lot different than it's going to look at the beginning of the season. So give Christian Parker some time. And I think fans will be very happy with what they get out of him as a defensive coordinator.
All right. Appreciate you. Hey, do you got any, you want to tell people where to find you, follow you, and to support the work that you're doing, man? I keep saying that, your social media handles, your YouTube channel, your platforms, man, they are top notch, man, as far as covering the Cowboys. Again, appreciate you coming on. We appreciate you here at Elite Nation, which is what I call our fan base here. Cowboys Nation and Dallas Cowboy fans as a whole, man. Where can they find you at?
You can find me on TikTok at Cowboys Beat on TikTok, Cowboys Beat on Facebook, and then Instagram and YouTube, I'm Kris Kretschman Show. So you can find me there. So appreciate you for having me on the show. It was a good time, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. You have a good day today, man, and appreciate chopping it up with you.
Absolutely. Talk to you later.
All right. Peace. All right, man. That was Kris Kretschman, and you can find him everywhere, man. You can find him, like I said, on he got the show that he does. You can subscribe to on YouTube. You can find him on Twitter X. And he check out Cowboys Beat as well, man. Kris Kretschman. You can find him everywhere. Appreciate all the folks that came in and dropped something in the chat. If you like the show, give some love in the chat right now, man. If you like what you heard today, like what you seen today, got some good perspectives and deep dive, man, about things you may not even known about the Cowboys with some of the behind the scenes stuff. Kris is tapped in, man. He got a lot of people that's affiliated with the Cowboys that he gets some inside information. I appreciate him sharing some of that on the show today. I want to give shout outs to, again, a couple of people. Spider Jacks 14. I appreciate you, man, for stopping through, interacting. Jess Mark, appreciate you as well. Rip Mr. 64, appreciate you. Paul Stock, appreciate you. KJ, appreciate you as well with interaction and leaving us a comment on there as well. And like I said, we stream on StreamYard, which we're streaming now. Check out the interview that I did with RJ Ochoa. Check this interview, which will go in podcast form, and I'll cut it up and do some inserts and some shorts on YouTube and on TikTok and on Instagram as well. This your man God's Child signing off. You can follow me at God's Child on air socially. Follow the show at The Star Treatment. That's on Facebook. That's on YouTube. And then you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and on Twitter X at The Star Treat DC. Again, that's at The Star Treat DC, man. Appreciate all the love and support. We're going to get on out of here. Again, thank my man Kris for coming through. We had a great show. Hope y'all enjoyed it. And we'll go into podcast form soon. Y'all take it easy. God bless.
Welcome to the Star Treatment, the elite Dallas Cowboys podcast. I am your host, God's Child. Follow us everywhere at the Star Treat DC.
Peep the palm. See the digits in the glass, legacy on the knuckles, we don't worry about the past. 5 stars on the chest, glitched in the design. DC to the world, yeah, we crossing every line. God's child on the mic, yeah, we crossing every line. God's child on the mic, turning coal into ice. God's child on the mic, turning coal into ice. Giving Cowboys Nation a whole new slice of life. No cap in the booth, just the truth and the facts. No cap in the booth, just the truth and the facts. Elite takes on the table, no holding anything back. Get that real Star treatment. May 20th if we lock in. 12 p.m. on the clock, the winning streak begins. Stay hip, stay connected, join the broadcast on the link. We the elite of the nation. Faster than you can blink. The Star Treat DC, yeah, that's the handle, that's the crew. Bringing 5 rings of proof and a vision that's brand new. Navy blue and the gold. Yeah, that's the color of the blood. From the turf to the booth. We rising up out the mud. Iced out pendant swinging, shining like the sun. May 29th at 12, yeah, the work has just begun. Exclusive coverage, top tier minds in the room. Clearing out the competition, hear the rumble and the boom. Elite Dallas Cowboys, yeah, the name says it all. When you dealing with at the stars, you never gonna fall. Get that real star treatment, May 20th if we lock in. 12 p.m. on the clock, the winning streak begins. Stay hip, stay connected, join the broadcast on the link. We the elite of the nation, faster than you can blink. The Star Treat DC, yeah, that's the handle, that's the crew. Bringing 5 rings of proof and a vision that's brand new.
5 rings, 1 show, the elite. You heard the stats, you know the history. Now witness the future. Set your reminders, we waiting on you.
Get that real star treatment, May 20th if we lock in. 12 p.m. on the clock, the winning streak begins. Stay hip, stay connected, join the broadcast on the link. We the elite of the nation, faster than you can blink. The Star Treat DC, yeah, that's the handle, that's the crew. Bringing 5 rings of proof and a vision that's brand new.
Hey, the Star Treat DC, we out. May 29th, don't be late.
That's a wrap on another episode. Lead Nation, the Star Treatment, the only Cowboys podcast to talk to you, not at you. From Shoddy Standard to CP's defense, from Dak and the A1s to dogs in the trenches. We covered it all, we broke it all down. Big D's new era, the royal welcome in town. But the show don't stop when the mic go off. We keep the movement alive across every platform. Follow us at the Star Treat DC, THE Star Treat DC. Again, that's at the Star Treat DC. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, the whole thing. Tap in with the family. Hit a bell ring until next week. Stay royal, elite nation. God child out, the Star Treatment, baby.